Every morning he stood in front of the mirror, staring at a face filled with disappointment. Not because he didn't try, but because every effort seemed to end the same way. Failure. He had followed the rules. He had listened to advice. He had worked hard, or at least that's what he believed, but life kept saying no. Each rejection felt heavier than the last. Each mistake stayed longer in his mind than his successes ever did. Slowly his confidence faded, not in one day, but little by little. He stopped talking about his dreams. He stopped sharing his plans, because explaining failure again and again was exhausting. At night, his mind became his enemy. It reminded him of everything that went wrong, every wrong decision, every missed chance. He compared himself to others, people who started later but reached further, people who seemed luckier, smarter, better, and a quiet voice whispered inside his head, "Maybe you're just not meant for more." That voice grew louder with time, until one day, it felt impossible to ignore. On that day, he sat alone in silence. No phone, no noise, just his thoughts and the weight of his failures. For the first time, he didn't try to escape the feeling. He didn't distract himself. He didn't pretend everything was fine. He allowed himself to feel it all. And something strange happened. Instead of pain, curiosity appeared. Instead of anger, questions formed. He looked back at every failure, one by one, not to blame himself, but to understand. He asked a simple question. What did this teach me? At first there was no answer, only silence. But slowly patterns began to appear. He noticed how impatience had ruined opportunities, how fear had stopped him from trying again, how comfort had kept him stuck. Failure wasn't random, it was revealing. Each mistake pointed to a weakness he ignored. Each setback highlighted a habit he needed to change. And suddenly, failure didn't feel like an enemy anymore. It felt like a mirror that showed the truth without emotion, without judgment, without lies. That realization changed everything. He understood something most people never do. Failure is not there to stop you. It is there to shape you. The problem was never failing. The problem was refusing to learn. From that day forward, he stopped asking why me. He started asking what now. When things didn't work, he adjusted instead of quitting. When fear appeared, he moved forward anyway. When doubt returned, he remembered how far he had already come. Progress was slow, painful at times, but real. There were still failures, plenty of them. But now they didn't break him. They guided him. With every lesson learned, he grew stronger, calmer, more focused. The mirror no longer showed disappointment. It showed determination. Not because life became easier, but because he became wiser. Failure didn't end his story. It gave it meaning. And that is the truth most people miss. There is no such thing as failure, only lessons waiting to be learned.